So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody or you're nobody.
Commercial films with all or predominantly black casts have existed since the early 1900s. Film is a formidable staple in the American entertainment diet. Images on the big screen can help create or perpetuate the cultural identity of a people. The perception of African Americans has long been associated with their characterizations in Technicolor. The characterizations have run the gamut from mammies, bucks, and coons to heroic figures like the black soldiers in the Golden Globe-nominated Glory.
This documentary will tell the history of African Americans in film from the early 1900s when African Americans began to make their own films. They wrote, they directed, they produced, they actually owned the theaters and distributed these films. These were African Americans who perceived themselves and projected themselves on the screen to be seen as professionals, as dignified, educated, moral, and upstanding citizens, as opposed to the stereotypes which were much more common.
How did all black cast black films intended for black audiences, nicknamed race films, originate? The origin of commercial black film in the United States can be traced to the shockwaves that rocked the nation, especially the African American community, after the release of D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation in 1915, which painted a wildly stereotypical South where happy slaves transitioned into dangerous thugs during the Reconstruction period.
This is a period that is covered that was filled with racism and lynching and very difficult times for African Americans in this country. So to have that as a backdrop and to understand that through this historical backdrop, African Americans were depicted as professionals. They were cowboys, they were artists, they were policemen, they were people who could be proud and could be emulated.
There have been attempts to examine segments of the journey of black film, but our three-part documentary, The Birth of Black Film, is a comprehensive look at race films like never before through the extensive research and collection of the late author and film historian Larry Richards. Larry was a passionate and driven man who for 20 years tenaciously tracked down and acquired any and everything he could that was associated with rare black films. Larry read the entertainment pages of every black newspaper published in the United States from 1917 through the 1950s. The breadth and scope of the material is unprecedented. There has never been a documentary filled with this much detail, memorabilia, and collection of rare black films. This panoramic view of the origin of black film is enmeshed with American history and gives an account of the tension between black filmmakers and the Hollywood that persists today.